Okay, my name is Judy Adams, and I'm here from the Palestine Public Library with Jim Ellis at his place of business here on Main Street in Palestine, Illinois. Today is April 8th, 2014, and I want to thank you, Jim, for agreeing to this interview. The purpose of the I Am Palestine interviews is to gather personal histories of the people who have lived in Palestine most of their lives and have helped shape it. And it's all due to the Mary Keith Foundation grant. So, Jim, I'll start out by asking you, what's your full name?
James Austin Ellis.
Okay, and what are your parents' names?
My dad went by Jack Ellis, and my mother is Nina Ellis.
Okay, are they both still living?
My mother is still alive.
Did you have any siblings?
I have one sister, Terry, who lives in Findlay, Ohio now.
Okay. Where were your parents from?
Well, my mom was born and raised in Palestine, and my dad moved here at a very, very young age. I'm not sure exactly when, but just as a very young boy.
Okay. And where were you born?
I was born in Vincennes, but of course lived here in Palestine all my life.
So you lived here all your life?
Yes.
What was it like growing up in Palestine?
Oh, a lot of fun. You play outside until it got dark, and then play inside until you had to go to bed. But it was a good place to grow up, and we had good schools and good places to have fun. Had lots of friendly people, and you knew everybody when I was a kid. Everybody knew you, which wasn't always a good thing, but it was a friendly community.
So you went to school here in Palestine?
Went to Palestine grade school, and then high school, graduated from there in 1973.
What teachers impacted you, if any?
Oh, several. Mrs. Bledsoe, Fern Bledsoe, was my first grade teacher, so that was a good start. Dorothy McGill, I had Dorothy in grade school as a social studies teacher in junior high. And in high school, Evelyn McGill was my English teacher. She had an impact just because she demanded a lot out of you. And then Tom Davis was our music teacher, and he was a really good teacher. Somebody who learned more than just how to be in the band from. There's a few of the most important problems.
Okay. Do you have any memorable moments from school?
Well, I'm not sure they're something that can be publicized, but no, school was fun. Even, back in those days, you still had freshman orientation, and you hated it, but it was a lot of fun, and you hesitantly looked forward to it. Sports, I was never very good, but everybody, pretty much got to play at least some, so that was good. German Jochen was one of my coaches in grade school, and played football 4 years. Again, was never all that good at it, but it was something you did. And I think we won one football game my entire high school career. And that was my senior year homecoming, and the referees felt sorry for us, I do believe. But, so, it's just a lot of things. Band, a lot of good memories from band. We had dance band. And like I said, Mr. Davis was an excellent teacher. And he was fun to be around, but you respected what he was able to teach you and that sort of thing, too. So.
Okay. What did you do after high school?
I went to LTC for 2 years and then transferred from there to Eastern Illinois University, majoring in at LTC I was studying pre-law, and then it was my focus, and that's what I went to Eastern for, but spent 1 year up there, and situations, life happened, and I came back to go to work at the mill and elevator that my family owned.
So. Okay. And then you got married?
Yes. Married Sandy Ernst from down at Bridgeport, but she had moved to Palestine in her second half of her junior year, and so she graduated from Palestine. I robbed the cradle with her. We were married in '77, so she graduated in '76, I believe. So.
Okay. Did you have any children?
We have 2 children, our son Jeremy, who lives out east, and our daughter Megan, who lives back in Palestine now and is a nurse up at Fairhope, my granddaughter.
And what's your granddaughter's name?
It is Lucy.
I love that name.
Megan's little girl.
Uh-huh. So what are some of your best memories of the history of Palestine?
Oh, growing up, there was always Labor Day celebration. That was the big thing that you ended your summer with. So that was always, something you remembered, because back in that day, you could go to the park with your family, but they would stay at the band shell and listen to the entertainment. And even as a little kid, you ran around the carnival and park and all on your own, and nobody worried about you. You just had to check in every now and then. Maybe not the best thing to do nowadays, but it was then. There was just a group of neighborhood kids that we did everything together during the summertime. And then as we got older, there was a group that were classmates, and we would ride our bikes to Hudsonville, or back when we still had the ferry at Hudsonville. I can remember going on our bikes to Mira and riding up the bluff and back down again and back home. So you did things like that, and nobody worried about it. You were gone all day long.
Okay.
So there was a lot of freedom and just a lot of fun. As we got older, we messed with cars and things like that, and chased the girls. But just good, I think, rural America childhood. So.
From what I gathered from the other people I've been talking to, it sounds like most of these times were the best time to grow up. It sounds like a wonderful time to grow up.
I think so. Like I said, it was safe. You had the freedom to do things that probably kids don't now, and you actually got out and did things. I mean, I can remember it being so hot in the summertime that maybe all you did was sit on the front porch and play games, but as soon as the evening came, you ran out and played baseball, or a pickup game of ball, and you were active all the time. There wasn't time to sit around and get bored, which sadly you hear a lot of kids saying that now. Even my little 6-year-old granddaughter gets bored pretty fast. And I remember watching television when we got one, when we got the television, black and white for years, and you watched TV for a couple hours in the evening, and that was it, because you were out playing until then. And after just an hour or two of television, it was time to go to bed. So, just lots of things going on all the time.
Mm-hmm. Technology has changed things a lot.
It has, and I fully embrace technology. I use computers at work all the time, and I love it, and I love having my smartphone and things like that, but sometimes I kind of think we might be better off with a little less of it, but being able to stay out of touch maybe a little bit, but it is what it is, so it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts of the future of Palestine?
I think Palestine's going to have its struggles, of course. We're a very small town, located sort of in the middle of nowhere. There's no real good way to get to Palestine. But at the same time, I've watched Main Street come and go, and we don't have too many empty buildings. We have a few, but we're working on ways to try to fill those back up. And I think, all in all, the future of Palestine is good. We may or may not have our own school system in the next few years, but I don't see that as the end of the world either. In Crawford County, there's not that much distance between any of the communities. So, like I said, I don't think that'll be the end of the world. It'll be something tough to get used to. One thing about Palestine is they don't like change. A lot of people in Palestine don't like change. And so anytime there's any change, it takes a little time to get used to that and to get over it. But once people do, then everything moves forward and we're ready to go. We've been real lucky in Palestine. The business community, the organizations, the churches all work real well together, so I think that's a plus. and they work well with the schools to try to help them where they can. So.
There's a lot of good people in Palestine that spend a lot of time volunteering and in different ways too, and that's something that I think Palestine needs to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, people have their own little things they're involved in a lot of cases, but except for some of the very elderly or the very young, I mean, everybody's involved in something, whether it's their kids' ball teams or trying to help the band or something to church or just all kinds of organizations, and everybody seems to pitch in and do their part when they're asked. Or a lot of people volunteer.
Do you want to give us a little history of how you got into this business?
Well, I have been in the framing business and photography business, which I no longer really operate, but framing and photography since about 1984. It was part-time. I worked out of my basement at home. I started framing because my wife was a needleworker, and I thought, oh my goodness, those frames are expensive. I can do that myself. And I started doing that, and then started doing it for a few friends. And you know, like I said, it was part-time. We still owned and operated the feed mill and the elevator at the time, so that was my full-time job. Added a studio onto the house so that I could pursue my photography more. It was a little tough working out of a basement with short ceilings to do photography, but I did that. All the hay bales down in the straw bales down in the basement, and had to clean up the mess. But so that's, you know, I started back then, and then after we sold the feed mill and grain elevator in the early '90s, around 1990, then I started full time, moved up on Main Street, and been doing it ever since. So.
You've got a nice big building here, and
Too big.
but it's really nice. And I know that your mother had she ran an excellent. What would you call it?
Well, she started off calling it a tea room. It was the loft tea room, and she quickly found out that a lot of the guys around here didn't want to go eat lunch in a tea room. So she dropped the tea room off the title, even though it was still on the paperwork, and added a few things to the menu to attract some of the guys, you know, too. But yeah, it was only open for a few years, but her famous white chili was real popular, and people still come in and ask for recipe or things like that. She also had a little antique business and a gift shop in with it, just using part of the space. She actually used the second floor for a lot of that, and we now live upstairs, but that was her business, and the tea room was on the mid-level. And she could see about 40 people, so it wasn't a big restaurant. That was full.
Well, I remember it with fond memories. I loved her food here.
Good food, soup, salads. Yeah.
Very good. So what words of wisdom can you give to the younger generation?
Not that they would listen anyway, but because I was younger once too. You know, I guess words of wisdom is, you know, set goals and work hard to achieve them. Don't expect people to give you everything. You have to get out there and earn it. And if you work at it, you can do just about anything you want to. It may take a while to get there, but it's available.
And positive thinking.
Yeah. An awful lot of people are very negative anymore. And I fall prey to that sometimes too, but at the same time, I always try to turn it around and look for the positives of things. So.
Well, I know that you've also helped the library with a lot of their computer. Didn't you have something to do with helping set up part of that computer?
Well, I host their website for them, and helped them get that started. I think Sue's, the librarian at the time, Sue Lockhart, I think her daughter actually developed the website and put it together, but we host that for them. And there's been different times we've had to help them a little bit with some of the problems that might arise, but that's another little part of my business. When you live in a town of, 1,400, you have to do a lot of different things if you're in business to make a go of it. picture framing. It's okay, but people don't have to have picture framing, and people don't have to have photography, and people don't have to have websites. And I also try to help some of the local businesses with the marketing and advertising and things. So if you do all those things together, you can stay busy. And so. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else or any stories you'd like to tell us?
Gosh, I don't know of any stories. Before we started filming, you talked about maybe a little bit about some of the organizations that I participate with, and Palestine Development Association is one of the most active. We've done a lot. I'm on the board. I helped to get it started back in 2000. Dot McGill was one of the driving forces behind it, McGill. And we used to meet around the table in Jim Goodwine's office, and then we decided we needed to be a little more formal than that, so we became a 501c3, and now we meet every Friday. And we put on a festival, Wine and Art Festival, and one of our biggest projects right now that is about to come to fruition is the new playground equipment down at the Riverton Park. So I'm proud to be part of that. I'm playing a very small role in that project. And then, I like to think that I'm active in my church, and our church does a lot of things in the community. It's a Presbyterian church. One of those things is the community garden, which we just started last year, and this year we're trying to get planted if we can get it quit raining long enough and the weather to warm up just a little bit. And with that, we assist the food pantry here in town, which is always looking for more food, and we give them fresh produce during the summer months. So those are a few of the things like that I'm glad to be part of, but I just play a small role in. And for years, I was very heavily involved with the Chamber of Commerce, and I've kind of shifted away from that a little bit. There's younger people coming into that, and shifted towards the Development Association and other groups. So, but and all those things, I especially in a small community, it's important to volunteer and be involved with things like that. You don't always reach the goals you want maybe as quickly as you do. I've heard people say, well, we've been working on this for X number of months or years or whatever. Well, there's things I've been working on for the last 40 years that we're still trying to get done in Palestine, but they are, each time you work on it, you get a little closer, and even if you don't reach that specific goal, something else good comes along as a result of it. So I guess persevere, and good things will happen.
That's right. Excellent. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, I want to thank you very much
You're welcome.
for doing this interview. The library appreciates it, and I think that a lot of people will be interested in what you all have to say.
Maybe 100 years from now they will.
Thanks a lot.